I'm Paul the trainer. In this video we're going to be looking around how to do a walk round check. Now the DVSA and obviously the Department of Transport see the driver as an integral part of the vehicle's roadworthiness, and it's really important you as a driver do a thorough walk round check. This could be the first use, or even you may be taking the vehicle over from another driver. It's also recommended at some point you're able to check the vehicle again to make sure that it's still safe and legal to go out onto the road. So first of all, what we're going to be doing now is a general inspection, looking around the vehicle and looking to see if there's anything obvious on the vehicle like accident damage. We can have a quick look at the tyres that we've just got here. We can see that they're correctly inflated, and a general inspection checking to make sure the vehicle looks good to go out onto the road. We're going to come round to the back of the vehicle and we're going to open up the boot lid. And what I'm checking for when I open up the boot lid is obviously my lower levels of my engine oil. So I'd pull out the dipstick, give it a wipe and check to make sure that it's all okay. We'd be looking at the level of the coolant and generally checking whilst we're around on this area here to see whether we've got any leaks at all within the engine that will give us an obvious sign that there might be something wrong. We're going to close that down now, and again just having a quick look on the corners and a quick inspection just down on the offside. Again, just looking to see if there's any kinds of damage, any sharp edges or anything that's going to cause us from taking the vehicle out. We're now going to head towards the cab now, and as we're going down towards the cab, this vehicle's fitted with a wheelchair lift. So before I start the vehicle, I'm just going to double check to make sure that the door is locked, which it is. If it's locked, obviously use your keys to unlock it, and we're just going to close it too. So we're going to go into the cab now and start doing our pre-cab checks, and then do a thorough walk round check on the exterior of the vehicle, and then moving into the interior. So we're going to open up the door, and this gives us a chance now to see, to make sure that the door is fully working, which we can say what it is. And as we come into the vehicle now, we can start checking the visual inspection within the actual interior. So we've got a view of the steps here, so we can see there's no causing anything for slip, trips and falls. Having a quick check on the grab rails as we come on in, and now we're going to start looking at our pre-cab check. So first of all, we're checking the seat to make sure it's all nice and secure. Okay, when we come into the seat, we're going to check to make sure it's got some adjustment in it. And at this point, maybe start looking to get ourselves set in our driving position. We're now checking to make sure that the handbrake is applied. We're looking at our gear selector to make sure that it's in neutral. We're now switching on the master switch. I'll put the keys on in, and at this point now, just before I turn the keys on the ignition, just can have a quick look at my mirrors just to see how they are set, and the interior mirror. Having a look across the windscreen, making sure that there's no cracks in the driver's line of view. We've got no mascot or any kind of stone chips, especially in this area just here. We're going to have a quick look now, look at the dashboard to make sure that we've got enough fuel and AdBlue for our journey, and to make sure that we've got no excessive warnings at all on the vehicle. But at this point now, I'm going to just cancel off on our tracking system. I've got the vehicle up and running, so I'm just going to come into my tachograph, check we've got the right time, put in my tachograph and complete my manual entries that I'm going to need to be doing for the day. So we're just waiting for the tachograph to load on up. Got additional entries, so I've just been doing other work since I've pulled my car out, so just clicking OK, confirming the entry, and then what we need to make sure as well is that the tachograph is set for other work, so it's now recording the walk round check. I'm now going to come into the cab and start switching on the interior lights. So we're just having a quick look, switching on our switch, making sure that we've got all our interior lights on. We're then going to put the exterior lights on, as well as our front fogs and rear fogs. Okay, just getting a quick look at the dashboard, checking to make sure we've got no warnings, putting on our hazard lights, and we're also going to switch on all the accessories that we're going to be using within the vehicle, including the wheelchair lift. All right. One thing that we really do here as well is we actually raise the suspension at this point, so it gives us a really good inspection of how the tyres are and etc. So we're going to come out the vehicle now and start checking on the exterior. Now we're going to start checking around the exterior of the vehicle. So what I'm looking for is making sure that the mirror is firmly attached onto the vehicle, checking down on the pillars, round on the corners, checking to see that my headlights are working and my fog lights, and the panel is all nice and secure. There's nothing loose around here on the front. As we come round the vehicle now, I'm now checking from the top, looking at to see the glass is all okay. The panel here is okay, my destination's working fine. Fuel filler cap is closed at the moment, nice and secure. And we're coming down onto round into the actual tyre. When I'm looking at the tyre, if you've got your torch, you want to be having a quick look to make sure that there's no obstructions within the wheel arch. We're listening for any air leaks as we've got the suspension raised on up. We've actually got pressure in the airbags. So if there was any leaks, we would be actually seeing them. We're now checking on the tyre, all the way around the tyre to make sure that we have that 1 mm of tread depth, 3/4 of the width of the tyre. We come onto the wall of the tyre. We're now checking to make sure we've got no cracks, bulges or rips or tears. There's no cord showing, and we can tell that the tyre is correctly inflated. We are now looking at the wheel, so we're checking the wheel to make sure that there's no cracks within the rim. We've got a full set of nut indicators on, so we can clearly see that they're aligned and they're not loose. If one was at a sudden angle, that would be identified to you that you really shouldn't be taking this vehicle out and you need that rectified. If you haven't got the indicators, what you would be looking for at the back of the nut for any rust or any shiny metal showing. Come on down, so this vehicle, we've got the wheelchair lift, and it's important, even if you've not got a wheelchair job, we need to check to make sure that the lift is always working at all times. So here, we're just going to pull out the door. We can see the door fully opens. By listening into the cab, we can now hear the buzzer is working. We now can open up the flap, and now we can fully test the wheelchair to make sure that it's working. If it's coming out, we'll watch it come on out. And we need to check that all the features on the ramp are working correctly. So what we're going to do at the moment, as it's coming on out, I can come on in, raise up the arms on each side. We're going to allow the ramp to go all the way up to the top. Obviously we can hear that the buzzer is working. We've got the red warning LEDs just located on this side, and they're working on this side as well. And now we can check now to make sure that the ramp fully goes into the vehicle. We're going to put it all the way down now. And what we're looking for now is to make sure that the whole ramp will come down completely, and at the edge here, the little ramp end section will drop to the floor. And by regularly testing the ramp, we're looking for any defects within the ramp, but regularly using the ramp as well will also make it a lot easier for you for actually using these such devices. What we do find generally is that drivers forget how these systems work, so by using them daily on your walk round check, you get more comfortable. So there we can see that it all comes all down, so we're just going to raise it up a little bit. We're now going to fold these in. Make sure they're tucked on in. And we're now going to stow the ramp away completely. There we go, all away. Tuck everything away all nice and neatly. And just make sure now that we close all the lockers on all the doors for it. We're now going to have a quick look now at the lockers, making sure that they fully open and they stay in place. We can generally inspect them underneath to make sure that we've got nothing underneath the vehicle that's there at all. This vehicle is fitted with the fire extinguisher, so we can see that that is in the green and all okay as well. And that's the fire extinguisher for the engine compartment. So now we're just going to check these lockers, close all nice and flush. And they do. So again, we're checking back, up and down across the vehicle, checking the panels to make sure that they're not loose. They're all attached and in place. We've got the tyre, so we're just going to check the tyre at the back here now. Same at the front. So that 1 mm tread depth, 3/4 width of the tyre, all the way around. Okay, we're looking on the wall, no cuts, rips or tears or any bulges. We've got no wire, thread or cord showing, and the tyre is correctly inflated. We've also got the inner tyre. So with the suspension being raised up, we can get our arm in to have a good feel and check to see what's going on. Wheel nut indicators lined up again, it's the same with what we were talking at the front, checking to make sure that they're all aligned. With this having the drive axle, what we need to be checking for here around here is that we've got no oil or any leaks at all from any actual drive axle itself. And again, checking within the wheel arch area to make sure that there's nothing caught. Got our spray suppression system, so we've got that there. We know that's all okay. Coming around the back now, we're checking the lights to make sure that they're all nice and secure. Coming around the back, so this is where we're checking our rear lights now. So we can see our indicators are on, our tail lights are on, our rear destination screen is working. We're looking down to see if we've got any damage at all. We've got our number plate on, and we can see that the lights are also working. Number plates attached, and we can check these panels now to make sure that they're all secure. We've got our angle morts as well, and again checking the lights, we can see they're all working. Now we're going to do similar checks now down this side of the vehicle. So again, checking the lights. Okay, make sure they're all working. Panels are locked. Here now we've obviously got a wheelchair vehicle, so we've got the sign here saying that we've got our wheelchair restraints in this box. So opening on up, and there we have it. We've got our wheelchair restraints. So here, I can see I've got a full set of rears. We can have a quick look to make sure that they're all okay, that they're all in a good serviceable condition. Just going to connect that back into that one. So that's my rear restraints, and I've also got two sets of fronts, so I've got them there. This vehicle has still got its ski chains on and its Continental kit, and we can see there that we've also got the emergency mirror arm there as well. Again, pulling on down that one. Tyre checks, exactly the same as what we've just done on the other side. Checking the wheel, checking the nuts, make sure we've got no leaks, spray suppression, all good. Again, checking the lockers as we go along, just checking to make sure that everything is all okay. We've got the water container just in there as well. Got our emergency exit, so we can now check that. That's in fully operation and is working okay. We'll reset that when we go inside. Obviously we've got the lock here for the tank, so what we're checking here is making sure, again, we've got the covers over, but we can tell it's all nice and locked. With the locker, again, make sure it fully opens. Again, checking to make sure there's no issues underneath there. Make sure it fully closes down. Okay, and again with our marker lights and reflectors, checking them as we go along. Front wheel, checking that exactly the same as what we've done all the way through. And again, remember to be listening for any air leaks. Spray suppression, located there. Fuel flap is closed. We'll check these lockers. We've got our batteries just underneath there. And we'll check this one as well at the same time. All looking good and fine. Mirrors, checking that they're all attached. Okay, and they're not broken and the back's okay. Going around the front now, so we're just checking to make sure that we can see that our marker lights are all working. Our destination screen is obviously working as well. Coming on down, we can have a good look at the condition of the windscreen, making sure we've got no cracks within the blacked area. We can check our wipers to make sure that they're fully attached. We can pull the blade out. Checking the blade to make sure there's no rips or tears in the blade, and that we present it against the windscreen, it's all nice and flush. It's the same with this one as well. Bringing it around and checking that it's all okay. Panels are all nice and locked. This headlight and fog unit is all working all good. Checking the bumper and obviously checking our number plate as well. Going to come around now and check some of the features now on the entrance door. So with the entrance doors, what we're looking for is someone was getting trapped, but that system is working. So if I just press the button now, it's going to let it come in towards my back. And we see now the door is resetted and open itself back up. We're now going to obviously close the door. We can have a quick check to make sure underneath this locker that everything's fine underneath there. And we can now check to make sure that the emergency control now works, which we can clearly see. Door fully on opens, okay. So what we're going to do now is go into the vehicle and start checking the interior. So we're now coming into the vehicle now. So what I'm going to do now is start turning off some of the features from outside. So again, just going to put my main beam on. I can see my blue light and I can see a reflection in the front. Now I'm going to turn off the bleeping now for the lift, and we're also going to reset door number 2. Okay, just watching to make sure that these controls work, and I'm also going to do the reset now on door number 1, and that's working as well. So we're now going to check the interior, so we can start off with the courier seat. Again, what we want to be looking on here, as we pull it on down, and with all the seats, we're checking to make sure that it's all good condition, no rips or tears, it's not soiled. Okay, if there's armrests, we can see that they are nice and fixed as well. We've got a seatbelt on, so what we can do now is pull out the seatbelt, check the condition, make sure there's no rips and tears, and we can give it a pull, and we know that the inertia brakes, and we know that it's locked in place. Okay, what I'm going to do is just leave it over, it helps keep that in place. Some of the safety features on the vehicle, so I'm looking at the bike extinguisher located behind the back of the driver's seat, checking to make sure that the needle is in the green. As I come up now, and as I'm looking through the interior of the vehicle, I'm looking at the top, so I'm checking to make sure all the panels all around here are all nice and fixed. Okay, there's nothing damaged. I've got a good view now all the way down the vehicle, checking all the lights to make sure all the lights are all working, it's all illuminated. Excuse me. I'm now looking at the roof panels to make sure that there's nothing broken, okay, or hanging on down. We're now checking the trim to make sure that's all okay. This window is also marked up as emergency exit, so we've got our glass spray camera just located in place there. And what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be checking the seats. What I will do is I'll just use these 2 seats just here. So as I'm checking the seats, similar to that courier seat, checking to make sure that it's all okay. Okay, it's not soiled. We've got no sharp edges or anything all sticking out that could injure our passengers. We've got seat belts fitted on armrests. So we check the armrests, we can check the seat belt, pull it all the way out, check it to make sure no rips or tears either side, put it on in, give it a tug, we all know it's all working, it's all okay. Same with this one, checking, and that same check on the seat. The backs of the seats, to show you on this one, we'll be checking throughout the vehicle. The grab handles, checking to make sure that they're all okay. Back, there's no offensive graffiti or any damage. The nets are all in place. Trays, come down, lock in place. Okay, and that they're all good. And make sure we put them back on in. Curtains, checking to make sure that they're all in place and all okay. And I would now check the rest of the vehicle, the seat, just how I've done. When I'm looking down on the trim, making sure there's no sharp edges, looking at the floor. Okay, we've got like the trap in here to make sure that there's nothing going to cause anybody to fall over. The edging is all looking nice and good. And the floor, there's no debris. It's not wet and there's nothing that's really going to cause any hazards. We've got a floor trap here for engineering to do their maintenance. Again, we check around the edge, nothing's going to cause any slip, trips or falls. As we go through the vehicle now, we're checking the rest of the other features. So one of the things, we've got the emergency door just located just here at the back, which is at the back on the side. So we want to check now to make sure that these features work. So again, we pull the cover, pull the handle, we've got the warning bleeper coming off and the door fully opened. We're now just going to quickly reset that mechanism, okay, and reset the door. The toilet, we want to check to make sure that the functions are all working. Toilet's flushing, sink's working, and we've got all our bits and pieces in there as well. Also, we've got the step edging just located here. We've also got the lights working as well. And it gives me a good chance now to have a quick look whilst I'm down this level throughout the vehicle to make sure that everything is in place, that there's nothing hanging on down or causing any issues for our passengers. In the roof, we've got the emergency exits. As we can see, it's clearly marked. It's down, it's in place and not hanging on down. So we would have checked the whole of the interior now throughout to make sure that all the seats and everything is correct. We're now going to finish off our driver checks down in the cab. So just before we get into the cab, we're going to quickly now check to make sure that the front door, its emergency exit control works. And you can see the door's popped, it comes on out, and we've also got the warning. So we're just going to quickly reset that now and close that too. We're going to come into the cab. So we already know the seat is pretty much well adjusted for what we want, and we've checked that. So we're just going to move the seat backwards and forwards, okay, and we'll do the height adjustments, checking all those features all work all okay. And again, just going to let the seat come on down and get it to my desired height. There is a little bit of a tilt on it as well, so we can check all those areas, because obviously you may not be the only driver of this vehicle, so we want to make sure that it all works. We're going to quickly check now to make sure that the steering wheel all adjusts and all works okay. Just going to reset this door at the front now, so we're checking on that. I know door number 2 has been reset, so that's okay now. So we're now starting to look at some of the controls that we've got in here. So we've got the 2 window buttons, so we're checking to make sure that they all work. We'll bring them on down and back up. We've got the blinds and we've got our destination blinds. We know that's working from checking outside. We've got that up, so we just checked the one blind. That one's coming down, and we're going to check the other blind, and that's working fine. We're going to make sure that they go back up a little bit now. Obviously, on the full walk around check, you let them come all the way down. I'm just showing you that we're just double checking them. I've got my interior mirror, so I'll have a quick look to make sure that that's all okay. As I come round on my right hand side now, I can see now obviously we've got our limiter of 62 mph or 100 kilometers. We've now got the vehicle height, and I've got my tachograph calibration. So come on down, we've got the little blind here. We can check that that works as well. We've also got our lamp, so again we can check to make sure that works okay as well. As we come round now, I'm starting to look to make sure we've got no warnings. Okay, we've got our systems on here, so things that I'm not going to be using now, I can now start to turn off some of the exterior lights and interior lights as well. Start turning them off. We can now turn off a wheelchair lamp, okay, and we've now got all our other features that we want on. So as we come round on the steering wheel, we can see where our controls and get ourselves a little bit familiar. We've got our horn, so we're checking that one horn. Let's check to see if the town horn works. On this stalk here, we've now got our indicators, so if we just cancel that, we've got left and right, we can see they're working. And I can have a quick look out the window to see what's happening there with making sure that they're on within the mirror. Wipers, we can check to make sure that our windscreen washer works. Comes onto screen off. And we now can check all the different settings on the wipers to make sure that they all work correctly. So we've just got it set on the intermittent. And what I'm looking for in a minute or two is those to be working on the intermittent wipe. There we go, and we're going to switch them off. I'm now going to start looking now at turning off the fog lights and the headlights outside. As I come across now, just checking on my switch gear. So here I've got my leveling. So here I can press the ferry lift to go on off. I can press my reset to make sure that it comes down in the right height. I can also lower the vehicle down. I can feel the vehicle moving as I'm pressing these controls and doing the reset. Okay, I've got obviously my lane departure, DPF, and my fire system switches. Don't need to be changing or messing with them at all. As we come across, we've got the dashboard set up, so I'm looking for any warnings at all on the dashboard. It's giving me a sign to say that this vehicle should be going on out. I can now check to make sure that the gearbox works, so I can get drive. So I've got 3A coming up on there for gear, and I've got manoeuvre mode clicked on place. As we come into reverse, I'm clicking on reverse, and we're checking to make sure that's working okay, and my reverse camera comes up as well, and we get into the reverse manoeuvring mode as well. Steering wise now, I can check to make sure that the power steering is working. I've got free movement within the steering. I can feel within my heating that the vents are open. I can feel the air coming on through, and I can also change and adapt and check to make sure everything's working. For example, demisters, so I've got a demister button. I can press that on button on there and get a change within the system. I've also got my infotainment system, so I can see that that's working on from there, and I can also play different channels and work from in that as well. We can give a test, we can hear the accelerator works, and we've got the brake pedal as well. What I'm just going to quickly do is just make sure that the doors finally open correctly, and they're all good. We'll close on that. Obviously at some point I may need to communicate with my passengers, so we've got the mic, okay, and we can just do test, that one's working fine. Just feed that back in. We've got one on the seat, so we're just going to switch to one on the seat. Test, 1, 2. Again, we might need to change the volume. Test, and that's working as well. And turn that off. Got where my handbrake is on, because obviously we checked it when before we started the engine. Tachograph is still working and recording as other work. So pretty much now I've done a full pre-use check of the vehicle. I know that I've not found any defects or any errors at all that would stop me from taking the vehicle on out. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. If you do have any questions, please drop it down below. and we'll try and answer as much as what we can. What I will say, there's always one thing you must always make sure is, as a coach driver, that you complete the walk round checks and you check in that front windscreen that you have your operator's license. So as I said before, hope you enjoy watching it, and if you've got any questions, drop them down below.